Hello, my sweet sabbatical sisters, and welcome to June. This is your opening video, as I always do, for the purpose of really helping you set the intention for the month. You know, I always think of June as a month of celebration. It's a month of weddings, and it's a month of graduations, and it's a month of solstice, which if you're a fire sign, this is a high holiday for us that we're thrilled about, right? We're moving from spring to summer. We're moving from element of air to element of fire, and so there's a lot of movement, a lot of volatility to the energy, but also a lot of possibility that's really exciting. A lot of us also find that we feel a little bit activated in this season, like we have ants in our pants, and the reason is we have 8 weeks left. We have 8 weeks left until the harvest season begins on August 1st at Lammas. So there is a little bit of a fire under your seat. Now is the time. If you're going to do this, you got to do it now. And so my goal this month is to enchant you, to inspire you, to encourage you, to push you a little bit beyond your comfort zone, because I think you'll be glad you did. You know, when it comes to solstice time on June 21st, I always think ahead to winter solstice on December 21st. And what I ask myself is this: if I feel really good about the year on December 21st, if I feel like I accomplished my goals and things unfolded in, you know, divine order with at least my intentions and plans, what do I need to do right now to make that happen? It's really funny. In my old consulting days, we called that backward mapping. So let's backward map. What do you need to do right now in order to make sure that you have the most prosperous, abundant, joyous winter solstice possible, so that you look back on 2018 and say, you know what, I did it. It wasn't easy, but I stayed focused, and every time I started to doubt myself, I would reinforce my intentions, and every new moon I was sending additional energy to those intentions, and every full moon I was celebrating whatever progress I had made. You know, magic is a process, and it's a discipline. If it was easy, everybody would do it. It's really, really funny. And I think the difference between people who experience great results with energetic work or magic and those who don't, I think the difference is choice, the decision. Somebody asked me a couple days ago, you know, when do you really feel like you started to lose the weight? Because I had been carrying around, 20 extra pounds for a long time. And I said, you know, it's really funny. I think it happened once I decided I was ready. Because every decision you make has consequences. And you may think that they're all positive, but sometimes they're not. Empaths, when we have extra weight on, we feel safe because the world is a little bit further away. So when we lose that weight, that may sound like a great thing, but empaths have a little bit of anxiety, and I know I certainly did, about like pulling people closer. There's less physical distance. Empaths gain weight. They pad up to push people away. And so it is with every choice. A choice to recommit to your relationship, because there's risk there. What if you get your heart broken, right? A choice to recommit to joy, which means you have to let go of sadness and a lot of trauma and stop reliving memories that might be serving you because they allow for pity. And do you know what I mean? Even under your choices that don't seem productive, there's something that you get, or you wouldn't keep making those choices. And so to make a new choice, which is a really powerful process, but to do that, you have to be willing to accept the consequences of not making the other choice anymore. That makes sense to you? We are coming to summer solstice in the northern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, you girls are coming toward the winter solstice. Both are times of balance. You need to look across your life right now and say, where am I out of balance? And how can I reconcile that? Is it too much, sadness and not enough joy? Too much lack and not enough prosperity? Too much restlessness, not enough sleep? And so how do we get back to a place of balance? Balance is the source of peace and happiness. It truly is. And the whole universe constantly seeks balance through you. Balance is the comfort zone of the universe. So when you're out of balance, the universe isn't celebrating that. The universe is waiting for you to be able to calibrate that. We talk about that a lot in Sabbatical. We talk about the principle of polarity and how opposites are actually on the same spectrum. They're just different versions of the same energy. Anger and love are the same, energy, but they're at the opposite poles. So what is the center point? There's a lot of us, by the way, this is an interesting thing for you to think about too. There's a lot of us who thrive in the extremes. You know what I mean? So we like the extremes. We like not the roller coaster, but we like the kind of a little bit of the instability because it keeps things interesting. Balance is stasis, right? It's steady state. So it's not up and down. And so some of us like the up and down, and so we perpetuate this lack of balance, but ultimately that leads to a lot of unhappiness and dissatisfaction. So you have to be willing to look at all these patterns in your life. And solstice, the 2 solstice points each year, and we have one this month, which is why I'm mentioning it now, are invitations. They are invitations to right the ship. And I'm talking about every ship in your life. I'm talking about your physical ship. I'm talking about your emotional ship, not shit. I'm talking about your every ship of energy in your life right now. Is it in balance? And if not, June 21st is your night. I hope you'll join me. We're doing a private and a public ritual this year, so you'll get to kind of have me all to yourself and then also share me with the broader community. I want to share too that I have a new class launching. We haven't decided if it's on solstice day or the day after. It might be on the day after solstice, called Of Light and Shadow. And that's going to be a 6-month course in shadow exploration and integration. And so if you have struggled, right, with that balance, with reconciling the light and shadow parts of yourself, if you're having health problems, if you aren't feeling good, if your relationships aren't successful, it's oftentimes a sign of a lack of balance in this area. And so that's why I've created a standalone 6-month course that's separate from every other program, just because there's been such demand. People have been asking me to teach Of Light and Shadow for about 6 years now. It just took me a long time to get to yes. But I wanted to make sure I had kind of lined up all of the things that I wanted to teach you, and I think it's going to be a really rich source of information. It's going to build on and be complementary to everything that we're doing here. So stay tuned for that as well. In the meantime, I wish you a month of peace and balance. I wish you a month of clarity. I wish you a month of growth and expansion. Use the warmth of the days and the longer days. Use the energy that's around you. Use the vitality of the sun. That's what these energies are here for. We're in the middle of the growth season for a reason. We're not in the middle of winter. This is not your time to rest and say, I'll do it later, or I'm too tired. Sometimes you got to just get up and do the thing, and you can work with your guides. Also, if you're lacking energy, if you're lacking motivation, ask your guides to provide you with the energy and the motivation, stability, support, encouragement, nourishment, motivation that you need to stay on track. I am always so grateful to have this space with you and to be the one who holds this container. You know, the Magical Sabbatical, if you're new, I just want to tell you this is my oldest class. There are people in here who've been with me from the very beginning. It's really beautiful, the community that we have established. And even though across all of our social media we have 1 million people in the Sage Goddess family, between Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest and YouTube and all the places, I hope you feel, because I definitely feel, there's still really a sense of intimacy and kinship, especially in Magical Sabbatical. You know, I know you and I see you and I know what you're going through, and I understand. I either have been where you are, or I'm a little ahead of you, or I'm a little behind you, but we're all on the same path, on the same road. And so I want you to know that this is a non-judgmental space, and I love that we maintain it that way. We're here to support and love each other and witness each other as we go through this process. And I'm going through it right along with you. You know, I have shared this many times before, but I have gone through my own transformations over the last couple of years and really been working on my own shadow too. You know, because we all have to, especially if we're called to do spiritual work, you have to rise to the occasion. And there's always places where I can improve. And I'm trying. And I see you also looking for those places. Where can you improve? Where can you strengthen the work that you're doing? How can you build a deeper alignment and connection to your purpose? And constantly asking those questions. And there are times where you might look and say, this is really hard. You know, being on a spiritual path and doing your soul work is hard. But what's the alternative? And I can tell you, because I have been doing this work since I was 14, pretty consistently, actually. I really started formal training around 17. And there were times where I would dip my toe in and then pull my toe out. And then I would dip my whole foot in and I'd pull my whole foot out. And then I would, you know, go up to my knee and pull my knee out. Because I would constantly say, well, I don't know, this is a lot, or it's hard, or I'm not ready for it yet, or maybe I need more training. So then I would go and take another class, and I would realize I don't really need more training. What I need is discipline. Right? You get to a certain point where it's like, are you going to be foot in for the rest of your life, or are you going to commit to doing this work? And yes, it's hard, but it's also hard not doing this work, not living up to your soul's potential, not not activating the energies and the codes that you brought into this lifetime to use. That's hard too, and there are consequences for both paths, both choices. But I think ultimately you engage less karmic debt when you say yes. It's as easy as saying yes. But then saying yes means you're going to go through some experiences, some trials even, and you'll come out the other side brighter and happier and clearer and more beautiful and more alive than you were before. But you are going to have to go through that process. For me, every time I journey, that's a whole commitment to that, is going through that whole process and emerging on the other side grateful and renewed, but also recognizing that it's work. Soul work is work. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. And then if you're lucky, you have a really strong tribe around you to support you and to mirror back to you, show you who you are, so that you constantly have an accurate mirror to reflect in and see. So hopefully we can be that for you too. So as we come upon the solstice, this beautiful high holiday of balance and integration, I wish that for you. I hope this is a month of balance. I hope it's a month of stability, integration, wisdom, coming into deep alignment with who you are and why you're here. And I hope at this midpoint, I hope that you reflect on the before and the after, to really think about and reflect upon and give thanks for how far you've come since January, and then ultimately to give a lot of thought and intention to where you want to be by December 21st. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. Aho, my sisters, and on we go. I'm so grateful for your presence. I look forward to all the work ahead of us this month and beyond. In the meantime, take good care. I'll see you very soon.